Hi there, I'm Annie and welcome to the video edition of the Delighted Owl newsletter. Come along as I share what I've been up to in the Pottery studio this past month. One way I found joy was building love-themed pieces for Valentine's Day. I had fun making mugs, plates, and succulent planters in both round and square forms. I used a trail mix cinnamon clay which fires to a deep red color and is my absolute favorite. After my bakeware came out of the glaze firing, it was time to test them in the oven. First off, I made a delicious strawberry pie, and the pie plate passed the test with flying colors. Next, it was time to try out the casserole dish. The hubby and I made a vegetable lasagna together, and the new pan did a fantastic job baking the lasagna, and it turned out so delicious. Then it was the loaf pan's turn. I used a new recipe for a blueberry loaf, and it didn't rise like it was supposed to, and the texture was off. Maybe because I didn't follow the mixing instructions exactly. However, it did taste amazing. The loaf pan seemed a little bit big, but I'll have to do some more baking with it before I decide to adjust the template or try a new one. What went wrong this month? Well, this owl tray cracked during the glaze firing, and it reminded me of a Buddhist meditation called Broken Glass Meditation, and it goes something like this. Can you prevent something that's breakable from breaking? It will break sooner or later. If you don't break it, someone else will. The Buddha saw the broken glass within the unbroken one. Whenever you use this glass, you should reflect that it's already broken. Whenever it's time it's up, it will break. Use the glass, look after it, until the day when it slips out of your hand and shatters. No problem. Why not? Because you saw its brokenness before it broke. So perhaps this idea of seeing a pot's brokenness before it breaks can help me uncurl my grip of attachment to it, even if just a bit. Here's a few of the pieces that I have added to my Etsy shop update this month. You can find the love pieces I've made for Valentine's Day, as well as some other bowls and even an owl lamp. In the midst of all that's happening here in the US, I'm hanging on tighter than ever to love and joy. Those in power are desperately trying to spread hate, violence, and fear, and every day it seems like there is a new headline that will break your heart. As hard as those in power may try, they can't take away my love for others and my strong belief that everyone deserves to be treated with dignity, respect, and equal rights. They also can't have my joy, the joy I find in connecting with others, the joy of being out in nature, and the joy that I find in my studio making pots. Podcasts are something I'm often listening to while I'm creating in the studio. And one podcast I find most meaningful is All There Is with Anderson Cooper. Anderson and his guests talk about their journeys through grief and loss. And my favorite is an older episode with actor Andrew Garfield. He talks about the grief of losing his mother to cancer in such a movingly deep way. This and the other episodes have helped me tune into my own feelings about my youngest brother, Zachariah James. He has been missing for a few years, and we don't know if he is still in the land of the living or if he has moved on to whatever comes next. For me, this feels like an ambiguous loss and grief, but listening to podcasts like this and sharing it with you helps me feel less alone and more able to keep Zach close to the surface of my life. Last year, I made Zach a fish canister, which ended up breaking into a few pieces in the bisque fire. It was supposed to hold little treasures that remind me of him, but now it has a special place in my garden surrounded by lavender. So here's to my brother Zachy. I love you, I miss you, and you will always have a place in my heart. Getting out in nature is something that feeds my soul. And one of my recent hikes was at Bullard's Beach State Park in Bandon, Oregon. There is a lovely trail that goes from the picnic area to the beach. It's a peaceful, pine needle laden walk. When I got to the beach, small white birds with long legs were having lunch at the shoreline. As the waves would move up the beach, these little birds would scamper along the shoreline, making the most delightful chirps. I left feeling refreshed and connected to the natural world. So how about you? What's bringing you joy in your life through the ups and downs? I'd love to hear. Let me know in the comments. Thanks for being here.